Hey friends, Dave here with Creation Sings. I am at Norris Geyser Basin today in Yellowstone National Park. This is an unworldly kind of a setting here with steam rising all over the place, pots bubbling, occasionally geysers erupting out into the air, and just beautiful scenery all around as well. What you're not going to catch in this video is also the wonderful odor of sulfur that comes out of these geysers. It smells like rotten eggs. Geysers are interesting things. There's different types here. Some just let off steam all day. Some bubble, and they're constantly bubbling and bubbling and bubbling and just kind of churning up. And some actually have regular eruptions where the water shoots up 10, 15, 20, 30 feet out of the ground into the air. What causes a geyser? Well, there's three main components. One is hot water has to be there. A lot of boiling water underneath the surface. Secondly is pressure. The pressure of the ground pushing down on that water moves the water upward. And then the third thing is a narrow opening, a very narrow outlet for that water. And so when that comes, it just erupts out of the ground with great force. You know, many of us are like geysers, aren't we? There's so many times that we tend to kind of blow off steam with our anger or just simmer all the time, or maybe even erupt at someone that we love and care about, or even a total stranger. And what's great today, though, is that the Bible gives us some great instruction on the idea of anger. There's two main verses that I really want to touch on this morning. The first one is where the Apostle Paul tells us, in your anger, do not sin. You know what? Every one of us gets angry. We get angry at the people we love. We get angry at strangers. We get angry about all kinds of important things and all kinds of meaningless things. But the key in God's eyes is that we don't sin with our anger. Secondly, another great verse tells us, don't let the sun go down in your anger. Keep short accounts. And don't build things up to where all of a sudden you're going to erupt at someone when you shouldn't. So, whatever your situation is, maybe you are one of those who is constantly simmering. There's a geyser here called Constant Geyser. There's another geyser here called Old Faithful that we're going to talk about later that continually goes off. No matter what happens, you can count on it to erupt. Maybe you identify with one of those kind of things. But here's the key. You can't change the heat inside of you. One time I had a person tell me, I can't help being angry, Dave. I'm Italian. Well, you know, God never gives us an out because of our ethnicity, because we're old or young, male or female. I've also had couples tell me, well, I only got angry at her because she said this or she did that, or because I had such a hard day, I had to lash out at him. There's no excuses for anger that hurts and anger that leads into sin. But God wants to help us with our anger. And he says to do that by giving short accounts. Keep that opening wide, not narrow. Find ways to constantly be communicating with those around you, and healthy ways of releasing that stress and pressure in your life so it doesn't just erupt into a geyser-like explosion. Hope you get out to this geyser basin someday, see some amazing sights here at the Norris Geyser Basin in Yellowstone. Let us make a commitment in our anger to not be a geyser that blows up, but to be one that honors God in all of our emotions. This is Dave, hoping you have a God-inspired day.